What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, well, I wanted to talk through what I believe should be at least the very minimum in terms of a cost for unlocking the Soulbound reward cards. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because if you saw one of the previous videos that I did very recently, there is a potential proposal coming in to be able to unlock Soulbound reward cards to use on land. Now, I talked about in that video, I would very much support that because these aren't considered NFTs right now, and I really think that there should be some kind of fee paid or burned or whatever the case is in order to be able to unlock these cards overall. So, thinking through exactly what it should be, I just want to give some context into why I think these things should be included. So first and foremost, there's a bunch of cards, but as you can see here, we've had almost 29 million BCX printed. Again, I'm just looking at regular foil, but in terms of overall cards, we're sitting at 12 million right now. 12 million regular foil and then another 500,000 gold foil. So keep in mind, there's a lot of folks that are probably keeping the cards, whether they're chasing gold foil or whether they're chasing regular foil, they're probably keeping the cards that they're not going after at single BCX in the hopes that they'll be able to sell them at a single BCX level in the future. So that's why, that's why I'm thinking that it could go that route. I don't necessarily want to focus on the selling right now, although that is going to factor in to this decision overall. But if we're just talking about unlocking for land, most of what people I think are going to do is have a card that's relatively highly leveled up, maybe even maxed out. And again, there's a bunch of cards here that, sure, they're nice to have, but if you don't use it and you don't want to go and spend for a maxed card on the market, like let's say, for example, somebody has like a gold foil legendary of like one of these cards, right? Or one of the legendaries, sorry, gold foil of a legendary of whatever suit that they need, the element that they need. They could go and spend, a couple $100 on the market, or they could just pay the unlock fee, put the monster on land, and then try to earn more of it. You get what I'm saying? So there could be some incentive here. So at the very, very least, there's two factors that I think should be considered. The first is DEC. The second is vouchers. So from a DEC inflation standpoint, I think in order to make these cards at least non-inflationary for the ecosystem overall when it comes to DEC, the burn value should be required to burn beforehand, or as Aggie might say, to stake, right? So you could stake the monsters. I think that we should just burn them, burn it completely out of existence. But whatever the case is, it's just a semantics, right? If you burn it and then they're unlocked, but they also have a burn value, it's really just the same thing. But if we burn the DEC or stake the DEC, however you want to view it, in that way, if the cards get burned at some point in the future, they don't add DEC into the ecosystem, at least not from a net perspective. We would have burned the DEC ahead of time, and then if the card gets burned for whatever reason, that DEC essentially comes back into circulation. So at the very minimum, from a DEC perspective, it should be the DEC burn rate. For commons, that's 5 DEC. For rares, that is 20 DEC. For epics, that is 100 DEC. And for legendaries, it's 500 DEC. Now, I don't think that we should necessarily worry about maxed out cards. And I actually think that there should be a bonus that's given to folks who decide to unlock a maxed card, meaning that let's say you max out one of the common cards. So that's 400 times 400 times 5 DEC, right? So that's 2,000 overall that you would need to unlock it. But you do also get a higher burn rate or a bonus, right, for the DEC burn rate if you were to burn it again in the future. I'm actually okay with that. Like, so make it so that if somebody gets a maxed out common, it's just 2,000 DEC and it's not the 2,000 plus the 5% that they need to burn. If they decide to burn in the future, then that, they could get that DEC. And I'm sure some people will look at that and be like, oh, whoa, that's an exploit, right? A bunch of bot farms are going to come in and they're going to play and max out these cards. And then they get like a free 5% DEC from unlocking to burning. And it's like, maybe, yeah, but they would still need to buy a bunch of cards. And I do think that cost or that incentive would be mitigated by the second thing, which is vouchers. I think we should just require vouchers for every single card. It doesn't matter whether it's one BCX or if it's multiple BCX, although you can clearly see that will incentivize higher level cards to be unlocked rather than single BCX cards, because all of a sudden the cost of a voucher for a 1 BCX card makes it that much more expensive. It also does, in a certain way, add a bit of an artificial floor, which I don't necessarily, I don't feel good about like putting in artificial price floors, but I don't mind it in this certain situation, simply because the voucher price is going to be volatile. So whatever it is, like, people will either be incentivized to unlock or they will be disincentivized to unlock based on what the voucher price is. But it gives voucher utility and it'll give voucher ongoing utility, because even when these soulbound cards are out of print, they could remain soulbound forever. Or let's say some point down the road, 4 or 5 after 4 or 5 new expansions have come out, somebody's got like a maxed out Firecaller that's just been sitting for a while, but they want to exit the game, or they want to move on and like change their deck around, or whatever the case is. So they want to unlock the Firecaller in 2027, and unlock the Firecaller in 2027, and they'll just pay a voucher for it at that time. Now, here's the thing: 12 million cards, or we'll say 12.5 million cards right now. There's 14.6 million vouchers that are printed every year, right? 40,000 per day, I believe, comes out to like 14.5 million. I believe it's 14.6, but somebody can correct me on the math there. All I'm trying to say is it would give a ton of utility to vouchers if people are just trying to unlock them, and it helps to eat through that supply every year or every 18 months, because we would get a new set of reward cards that would be printed actually at the rate of whatever the community, however big the player base is. Because obviously I think the soulbound reward cards, they've slowed down a bit as the player base has come down significantly since January 31st, when this went live. So ultimately, to wrap this up, because I think I've gone a little bit longer than I was planning to, I really think that at the very minimum, it should be the burn value, whether it's a single BCX card or a max card, and then a voucher, whether it is a single BCX or maxed out card. It doesn't matter. So if we can do that, I think it would be highly, highly beneficial to the ecosystem. Again, going back to the DEC side, I didn't even cover this earlier, but most people would be unlocking because either they want to use the card on land, or they want to sell the card to somebody who wants to use the card. So that DEC then is effectively burned, and there's no coming back to it unless somebody really, really needs the DEC at some point in the future, or the market tanks and these cards go below their burn value. But we could start burning a crap ton of DEC and vouchers just from allowing the unlock, which could happen within the next couple of months here. But that is all I have. Have an amazing rest of your day. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.